Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me on this Claranet webinar. My name is Paul Davis, and I'm the Product Manager for Networking and Connectivity here at Claranet. Today I will be introducing you to Claranet's new 3G workforce mobility solution, briefly looking at why mobile working is increasing in popularity and what the major opportunities are to your business. There will be a Q&A at the end of the presentation, so submit any questions you might have using the question box below. Companies are increasingly facilitating mobile working practices for their employees. According to Virgin Media, 64% of companies surveyed are now equipping employees to work outside the office. This is a huge increase from the 2010 figure of 14%. Forbes predict that tablet adoption at an enterprise level will grow by almost 50% a year. Evidently, mobile working is here to stay. But what is driving the move towards this way of working? In his paper, Notebook Computers Go Truly Mobile at the Intersection of 3G and IT, Eugene Signorini explains there are three key benefits resulting from investment in a mobile workforce from a business perspective: increased revenue, decreased costs, and improved services. Mobility allows an employee to make faster, smarter decisions informed by real-time data from anywhere they have a connection. This in turn allows an individual to make more decisions and to complete more transactions, leading to increased revenues across the business. Mobile technology has also been proven to streamline workflow processes, resulting in decreased administration costs. Mobile solutions allow company employees to update information on the fly, so the very latest information is potentially accessible to other members of the company, anywhere they have a connection. This up-to-date information allows fellow employees and business partners to make better informed decisions so they can offer improved customer services. Information that's been updated by employees using mobile solutions can also be made directly available to customers, optimizing the customer experience. The three advantages outlined on the previous slide are all things that senior management strive for. As former CIO and SVP of Nokia, John Clark states, one of the ways he has sought to enable people to be more effective has been through the use of mobile technology. Implementing mobile technology solutions are a way for CIOs and IT managers to make a palpable difference to their business. Implement mobile working right, and you will gain goodwill from a whole company who attribute their improvement in productivity and lifestyle to you. You can develop a feel-good factor by facilitating people to work from a destination of their choosing, while also making your business cleaner. According to one report, 21% of employees have requested a tablet computer, indicating their willingness to adopt a new way of working. Instead of resisting change, isn't it time you investigated how mobile working solutions could work for your organization? Advances in device and network technology have been fundamental in driving the wireless mobile working trends we see today. In the chart, you can see that the steady improvements between the correlating degree of mobility and the level of connectivity have led to what Signorini calls Phase 4, or true mobility. This chart was created before the popular rise of tablet computers, but the same principle applies to that technology in smartphones as it does to notebooks. Indeed, soon 4G will be unveiled in the UK, leaving Signorini to coin a new superlative title for Phase 5. The point is, network computing performance is getting better all the time. And as it already allows true mobility, even faster networking technologies are going to push trends further and further towards mobile computing. So, introducing 3G mobility from Claranet. It's a service designed with IT professionals in mind to easily allow them to set up and manage a truly flexible workforce. By allowing employees to work remotely with the same experience and regulation they would encounter in an office, IT professionals are able to facilitate a more agile, responsive business. Crucially, 3G mobility from Claranet provides answers to problems associated with other forms of mobile computing. 3G mobility is a 3G-based SIM-only service which works on tablets and laptops. Setup simply involves inserting a SIM card into one of these devices, and instantly your business has access to Claranet's private network and the benefits this offers. The same benefits one would experience from a fixed line connection with Claranet apply, with the added flexibility provided by mobile working. Consequently, speed, integration and security aren't affected by the fact you are connecting from a mobile device or location. Other forms of wireless connectivity, such as Wi-Fi and public 3G SIMs, present challenges to an IT professional in terms of their integration. In order to connect to a business's network securely, Wi-Fi and public 3G connections must use a VPN or virtual private network to encrypt data. The administrational efforts involved in preparing every device to handle a VPN in this way are not a good use of time. Because our 3G mobility service is directly integrated with our MPLS network, there is no need to waste time deploying and rolling out software to allow a VPN on each of your employees' devices. The initial outlay of setting up VPN software for mobile working is expensive too. By choosing 3G mobility, you're able to work anywhere and remain integrated without having to pay for the privilege of both advantages, as you would with, say, public 3G SIM and VPN applications. Finally, mobility is far more user-friendly. There are no settings for an employee to potentially change by mistake, and no long-winded signing-in process to go through. Reducing the number of processes a user needs to go through to connect to the company resources means that from the moment they want to use their device, their experience is quicker and more enjoyable. The data transfer speed of our 3G mobility service offers significant improvements over alternative connection methods. Wi-Fi and public 3G SIMs rely on the public internet to transfer data. This means that many users are contending for the same bandwidth, often leading to very low speeds and sometimes spluttering connections. 3G mobility from Claranet, on the other hand, provides a dedicated high-speed connection, which in ideal conditions could provide users with a download speed of 21 megabits a second. This explosive speed can be accomplished because we can plan the capacity you want to use and devote it purely to your business needs. A business using Wi-Fi and 3G connections to direct traffic to their MPLS network has to use the public internet to transport the data. This in itself is a dangerous strategy, as packets can become intercepted. Rather than being tightly integrated with the MPLS network as Claranet's mobility offering is, where the firewall is configured to allow traffic from any connection type as long as it's authenticated, a business using Wi-Fi or 3G connections will be directing traffic into the MPLS at a different entry point from their fixed line traffic. This is a bit like having a security guard on the front door of your office, and the security guard vetting everyone who goes in and out, but also leaving a fire door open and allowing some users or employees and visitors to come in and out as they please. For those handling the IT needs of their businesses, this means trying to implement a new firewall, leading to a host of potential security and administrational complications. 3G mobility links with the business's MPLS network just the same as a Claranet fixed line connection would. As a consequence, it's highly secure as the traffic doesn't traverse the public internet connection, and it uses the same firewall. This means nothing unwanted can sneak in through the metaphorical fire door. With Claranet's mobility solution, your traffic comes straight through the front door past your security guard, which also means your corporate standards and content controls can be applied, so remote workers don't have the means of accessing content you don't want them to access. As part of a responsible IT policy, it's likely that you regulate the applications on any devices used by your employees for business purposes. This becomes more difficult when they're personal devices. By bypassing the need for VPN and its inevitable administration, Claranet mobility services free up your time to focus on other security and administrational issues presented by employees using their own devices for work. Using our service means that you have one less thing to worry about, because employees are using a secure network connection to access your business's computing resources. Mobility also makes it easier to administer MDM, or mobile device management, because only the security and regulatory software needed to control fixed line connections is needed. If you were to use an alternate form of wireless connection, it's likely that further duplication of software would also be needed to ensure mobile working regulation was aligned with the best practice for fixed line working. This would involve extra financial and administrational burdens. Traffic from customer mobile devices is carried securely across the national 3G network without the need for an IP VPN. It's shown here by the red line. The traffic is delivered seamlessly to Claranet via a pair of highly resilient Layer 2 interconnects and is then delivered to the customer's business location across the high-performance MPLS network. Claranet has partnered with a 3G network provider that consistently comes out top in surveys of network performance and whose network reaches 97% of the UK population. So you can rely on Claranet mobility to reach nearly everywhere. We've removed single points of failure in the core network by engineering two resilient interconnects which provide geographic resilience, meaning that core network availability is similar to our MPLS network. So you can rely on Claranet mobility to give you a high level of availability. The capacity planning of the network assets is carried out to meet the needs of business users, so we won't be treating you like a consumer. As Claranet has complete control over the IP address space used, we can ensure that your overall network design is not compromised by the addition of 3G devices. This includes allowing each SIM to have a fixed IP address. And to ensure that security is not compromised, we fully support CHAP authentication to provide an enterprise class and carrier scale solution, which means you're buying into a service that's tightly integrated into our infrastructure and not merely just bolted on the side. Continuing our theme of flexibility, there's no long-term commitment to Claranet's 3G mobility service. So businesses could sign up for just a month in order to see whether the solution is right for them. Initial startup costs are low, and our fixed price monthly contract provides a certain amount of data, so you won't get any nasty surprises each month when you get the bill. And this can be flexibly increased depending on your demand. For large contracts, including multiple SIMs and longer commitments, we can offer discounts. And of course, 4G is just around the corner. This technology will offer even faster speeds, and we'll offer a hassle-free migration to this technology when it becomes available. So, in conclusion, 3G mobility provides a tightly integrated connection into your corporate IT infrastructure. In doing so, it facilitates a mobile workforce, meaning your business is more agile, reducing headaches for IT staff and allowing all of the business's employees to concentrate on the more important things. It does all of these things by providing you with a highly secure connection without the need to take on the overhead of a VPN, a high-speed connection which can provide up to 21 megabits a second download speed. And it works just like a secure enterprise-level fixed-line connection, but with the ability to connect anywhere. So, if you'd like to find out more, please click on the link below to the Claranet 3G information page, and we can arrange for one of our 3G experts to call you back. At this stage, I'd now like to invite you to submit any questions that you still have that are outstanding, and we'll answer those online. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's brilliant, Paul. Thank you very much. That was a really interesting presentation. And judging by some of the questions we've got in here, so everybody else has found it quite interesting as well. By way of introduction, my name is Richard Moore, and I'm the marketing manager here at Claranet, and I'll be chairing this live Q&A segment of this Claranet presentation. So one of the first questions we've got in here, a really good question from Mr. Brendan O'Halloran of ABA Networks Limited, is so it's quite which network does Claranet use for this service? So Paul, if you can answer that.
Yes, that's certainly a very interesting question, Richard. Claranet chose the 3 network for our 3G services. We did that for some very clear reasons, and the The major one of those was the fact that it's got the widest network coverage, covers around 98% of the UK population. And the network also comes out top in Ofcom surveys of network availability. And we need to be able to provide a service on a UK-wide basis. So that was very much the obvious choice for Claranet.
Fantastic. And the next question here, just moving forward, Mr. John Nation of Elite Apartments Limited. He asks, so what about 4G? Aren't you a little behind with this service? Oh, that's an interesting question. So,
yes, that's certainly a very topical question at the moment. Claranet's very much tracking the availability of 4G as it becomes commercially available, first from EE and then from the other network operators. It's certainly something that is there on our roadmap, but it's true to say that it's likely to be 12 to 18 months before 4G is widespread, but it certainly will be a product that Claranet will be offering in the future when it becomes sort of commercially widespreadly available.
Fantastic. The next question, quickly moving on, Ms. Verena Gasperi of Gasperi Consulting Limited. She asks, do you have any existing users for your 3G wireless services? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes, Richard. Claranet first launched a 3G service around this time last year, and we've got one very large customer with 850 sites. They're using 3G in a slightly different way. They're using it for resilience purposes on their point of sale systems. So it's providing a backup to their broadband connections because they're very reliant on taking card transactions. And in their case, 3G is providing them with a near 100% uptime availability, which is very key to their business.
Fantastic. The questions are flying in thick and fast. Mr. Kevin Ryan from Oxford Anglican, Oxford Diocese, sorry. He's the Director of ICT there, and he asks, I have an MPLS network using broadband. I was hoping that I could use this new offering as a backup in the case of a landline failure. Will Claranet be offering routers like some Draytech models that can have a SIM card option? So Kevin, I hope I've done your question justice. Paul, what are your thoughts on that?
Indeed, we've got a number of offerings in that area. The customer I mentioned earlier with the 850 sites has gone down a Cisco-based solution. The routers that they've deployed have got a 3G module built into the router. And we also have an alternative Zyxel-based solution, which is using a 3G dongle that sort of is fitted into the back of the router to give the 3G capability. So that gives failover from a DSL type connection. The router automatically detects the DSL has gone down and automatically switches over to the 3G connection, giving effective near 100% uptime and availability.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paul. I'm sorry, I'm just looking through these questions now because we've got quite a lot of them to get through. Mr. Simon Tipple from the Davies Group, he says, do you have a management software to deactivate SIMs for leavers from the company? Brilliant.
Yes, so that is a very key part of being able to support a service like this. Obviously, because it's a portable service, your employees are wandering around with a network connection effectively in their pocket. It's very important to be able to deactivate the SIM should they leave or should the device be stolen. Currently, that would be to be able to achieve that, you'd need to make a phone call into Claranet to be able to deactivate it. But we can do that 24 hours a day. In the longer term, we're looking to make that capability part of the management portal for network services, so extending that capability out to our customers. So you'll be able to carry out that type of change yourselves.
Brilliant. And a follow-up question, or actually the first question from Simon. So you are reliant on current 3G networks, which can be pretty slow depending where you are in the UK. I don't see much of a difference between yourselves and Vodafone. Paul, what are your thoughts on that?
Sorry for the slight technical glitch there. The key difference between a service from, say, Vodafone or O2 or anyone like that and the one from Claranet is that the Claranet mobility solution is tightly integrated with our MPLS network. So if you were an existing Claranet MPLS customer, this traffic would arrive in your network exactly the same way as the traffic which arrives in your network from a broadband or a Ethernet type connection. So there's a much more tight level of integration there. It's true to say that the performance of a 3G network varies throughout the country, which is one of the reasons why we're closely tracking the emergence of 4G, which will give sort of greater throughput capability over the same sort of infrastructure. And for any customer that sort of takes on a 3G service now, it will be a relatively simple migration to switch to 4G when that becomes commercially available, and to gain the benefits of the additional throughput.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Just the last question I've got here from Santendra Singh. He asks, okay, please send me this presentation so I can share this with the other guys in my technical team. Well, I can answer that question myself. Everybody, all the viewers of this presentation will receive a follow-up email containing details and links to this presentation on the Claranet YouTube channel. I think that's all the questions that we've received so far. So I think all that's left for me to do is thank everyone for attending this Claranet presentation. I hope you found it an enjoyable and useful session. Despite our little technical glitch, it does prove it's a live Q&A session. That's it from myself and Paul. For further information, please contact your account manager or visit claranet.co.uk/3G and submit an inquiry. As I said, we will be sending you the follow-up email containing details of how to view this presentation again. All that's left for me to say is I hope everyone has a very nice day today, and goodbye.